Going one step further, and increasingly many companies around the world, small and large, were turning to the idea of relinquishing all of their hardware and software headaches by coming over to cloud. If you ever see terms like XaaS on a job spec, you can immediately assume that this client has gone cloud. They are, rather than taking responsibility for their IT architecture, they are choosing to hire it as a service. AAS stands for as a service, and this is what cloud is effectively offering. Everything as a service. So whenever you see anything with something AAS on it, that's a cloud capability. The key thing here is that you don't need to take on the huge upfront costs of setting anything up, or the ongoing costs of maintenance and delivery. That is now the headache of the cloud provider. In other words, you have virtualized whichever IT service or resource we are talking about. All that the business needs to do is sign up to a metered or pay-per-use cloud facility. So SaaS is a term you will come across on job specs coming out of clients who've gone over to cloud. And this is one that you've probably seen already. It simply means software as a service. And it means that you just need to pay a monthly license fee per user to access a particular software. Thereafter, that software can be accessed from any client machine, laptop, tablet, or mobile. The software itself will be housed at the cloud provider's end, and your company's employees simply use it. All matters relating to uptime and maintenance of the software is taken up by the cloud provider, who have promised to provide you a level of service, say 99.9% uptime, over the year. Applications such as Dropbox, Gmail, Office 365, they all fall into this category. And of course, the software you're looking at now, the training on the online platform, is software as a service too. Now let's talk about infrastructure as a service, IaaS. What this means is that all of the hardware that would traditionally reside on site, such as servers, storage, and other network hardware, are now virtualized over to the cloud provider. You as a business need no longer concern yourself about the purchasing of expensive hardware, with the onerous service contracts and the fear of always being behind the curve in terms of having the latest kit. With a cloud-based IaaS account, you're always guaranteed the latest equipment perfectly tuned and performing to their ultimate capacity. All matters relating to security and load balancing as traffic increases and wanes through the day, well, they're no longer your problem because all the infrastructure is taken care of by someone else. That's IaaS. And so the list goes on. PaaS stands for Platform as a Service. And this is actually a more encompassing cloud solution, which frees the business from the constraints of developing for a particular operating system. Like middleware, it frees developers from having to develop applications for a particular platform. So in essence, PaaS can translate much of your in-house applications and make them available to users across the entire architecture. This is very useful if your global company IT architecture is made up of a myriad of different companies, all with their own operating system environments. So you can think of Platform as a Service as providing a translation layer for all of your disparate IT systems. All of this would be a real technical minefield to handle if you were taking care of your own IT department. But plug into PaaS and you can ease your path considerably. There is also a very similar term which we should think about in this environment, and it's called serverless architecture. So for the time being, without getting overly technical, you can think of PaaS as almost being synonymous with serverless architecture. According to a fascinating 2020 Tech Targets survey, rumors on the demise of on-site or on-premise infrastructure are actually considerably exaggerated. It turns out that there are a lot more companies that have decided to stay with an on-premise hardware setup than most people will have you believe. A key reason for this is what they call the repatriation of workload back to central on-premise servers, or at least data centers. And the driver behind all of that is, of course, security. Yes, even in 2020, according to a Cybersecurity Insider's report, 75% of cybersecurity professionals are still extremely concerned about cloud security. Concerned enough for a trend towards repatriating applications and data back to the business. This could be through creating more hybrid cloud solutions. That's one that uses both on-site and cloud-based IT infrastructure. Or increasingly towards an edge-type infrastructure. So let's talk about this. If the last decade was all about going cloud, then the next decade could be about companies going edge. So let's discuss what edge actually is.